Welcome to the Fanatical Elfz Show, part of the Elfz Network. We are a bunch of wild and crazy Cleveland Browns fans, bringing you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. Good evening and welcome to us wild and crazy Fanatical Elfz and First Sports Network. I'm Johnny Cleveland, Noah Olson, and Sam the Man, all the way from Texas, joining us tonight as we talk Cleveland Browns, more Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, the mayhem there, the contract. Oh boy. How are you guys doing, Noah? How are you tonight?
I'm good, man. How are you feeling? It's you and the youngins on the podcast today. You don't got Steve, you don't got Lou to bail you out. It's 2-on-1 right now.
I think, let's see here. Your age plus Sam's age, I think I'm still older than you. Let's see. How old are you, Noah?
I'm 23.
And Sam?
16.
Yes, I'm older by a lot. I could be your father. But I'm not. Aren't you happy? Noah? All right. Now, you do have some connection to Worcester.
I do. Worcester Fighting Scots football, my alma mater. Played college football there. Hung out there for 4 years of my life. Miss it. My girlfriend still goes there. Shout out Bree. I know she's not listening. She's doing her homework right now, but shout out Bree anyway.
You know the story, and I've told many people. No, I think you know that my dad was the city planning director of Worcester, starting back in 1980, and I moved from Toledo, the glass capital of Ohio, and moved there to Worcester and went to school there. Grew up there, graduated from Worcester High School in 1988. 88. Here we go.
I don't think I knew you were a general, but.
No.
Yeah.
Well, here's the fun part too, is that, on social media, as old people, we get on Facebook probably more than you, but there was a video circulating from YouTube. You can look it up right now. It's 1986 Worcester Generals football, and there'll be various videos from like back in the day on the good old Channel 9 in Worcester used to broadcast the local, football games. And so there's a game there when not the Browns, the Generals played Glenville in the first game of the season, 1986. And you get to see me. I'm in the band, 175 strong Worcester Generals. I played the trombone. By the way, I was band member of the year, guys, 1987. Just want.
Where's the award? I don't.
Where's the trophy?
Behind you.
I will have the trophy next week.
Noted.
Sam, how are you tonight?
Good.
He's yawning, folks. If
Yeah.
you're watching, he just yawned. He yawned. It's the Fanatical Elfz Show, man. Sam, wake up.
I'm doing good right now. We've had lower than 95 for like 4 days now. I don't think we're
hotter than you.
Yeah, I know. I don't think
not
we're
in
supposed
Cleveland.
to another 100 for a few days, so it's been really nice. It still feels like 106 in the sun, but the sun is blasting every time. We had storms yesterday, and we haven't had rain in like 4 weeks, so that was nice. But we're just kind of chilling out. I'm just waiting for football in 10 days, right? 10 days until the first game.
College.
So
I'm ready to go.
I think we are all beyond that moment, right? We all want to get like let's go, right? All right, let's start with the big news today is Watson's contract and how the Brownies and Andrew Berry worked his magic again. A lot of us, we missed Steve Gillenight. Steve's at an undisclosed location as he's traveling back from, I think, Pennsylvania back to his home in Tennessee.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I knew it. I just couldn't spit it out. So anyway, they do their magic again. And from what I'm reading, and you guys can give me more details here, they took his salary or whatnot, and they gave it to him as a bonus, like
Yeah,
$44 million. And so
kind of
now
like a
his
signing bonus almost. They just
yeah,
can roll that into a signing bonus, and then
okay,
it doesn't count to your team salary since
uh-huh,
it's considered a bonus and not or like an incentive almost.
yeah,
And so it's not counted to your salary, so it frees up cap space even though you're still paying him the same amount of money.
okay. And so they're just pushing everything right forward.
So I was waiting till we got on the show to give you my analogy, but now that we
Ah,
are on the air,
yes,
it's
please do.
and this isn't completely mine. Shout out Quincy Carrier, Browns YouTuber I watch pretty often, so I want to give him credit where credit's due. But I
Yes,
want to put this one out there because it makes a lot of sense. It's like using a credit card, but the
yes,
credit card is giving you the interest instead. Instead of you paying them the interest, they're giving
uh-huh.
you the interest. Because you're
Ooh,
kicking that can all the way down the road to when the salary cap is 25+% bigger,
yes,
where whatever dead dollars is there for Deshaun Watson at that point, it's probably, I know it's scary to think about, but rebuild time at that point, whenever we get to the end of whatever the kicking of the can of Deshaun Watson and all these players is going to be,
yes,
that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like taking credit with less interest. And even if we're not in a rebuild,
right.
dead cap only counts for so much if the salary cap is 25% plus bigger than what it is at the current.
Yeah. It's just like we're playing with, it's like a big game of Monopoly or I don't know. It just seems like we're just, nothing seems to matter. Like the cap doesn't really matter.
That's
There's
been the
an,
name of the game in the NFL
yeah.
for a while, especially with incentive-based contracts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Your cap dollars only count for so much, and then now we're talking about being able to kick the can down the road. A lot of teams are doing it that way. Andrew Berry is just the master of all masters at doing it, and we've
Yeah.
gotten very lucky with him, for all his flaws and all of his greatness that I think we've seen out of him so far.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
kind of what you do when you're in a win now mode like the Cleveland Browns are, regardless of
but they
outside.
got to win, right? They got to win. Are either of you worried about them winning this year? Like really winning games?
I'm not winning per se, but I'm worried that something will happen that'll cause us to lose a lot of games. I think again, I've probably said this a million times. We are fighting injuries more than we're fighting opponent teams. I feel like this team is good enough, but we have so many people that are prone to injuries. It's just worrisome that something happens. Like even if we lose Deshaun Watson for 6 games, and let's just say, I don't want this to happen, but like Myles Garrett for 6 games, right?
Yes.
If they're lined up, that's half your team in terms of like skill just gone. And I think I'm worried more about injuries less than I am about actually just straight up losing games by lack of skill.
Noah, you agree, or what's your take on that?
I mean, the injury bug's always a concern, but we're talking contact football here. There's going to be injuries no matter what. I
Yeah.
think this team is built to win football games. I think we saw it last year. I think we got the shortest end of the stick and then some with, the quarterback carousel we went through and all the different injuries all over the team that I don't think any of us want to relive at this point. That being said, going into this year after seeing the team do what they did last year with the Joe Flacco that came off the couch, it was a great story. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect. I love Flacco. He's one of my guys now in terms of Browns greats. But Joe Flacco was not much of anything, New York Jet time, anything before this. All that to be said, I'm not worried about seeing this team win football games because they've shown they can do it with the worst hand dealt possible. Now we're going into a year with everyone healthy. Denzel Ward cleared concussion protocol today.
Yeah.
I know the concern that's there about that, but we're going to put CTE to the side for a second because he said he wants to play, so he's going to play regardless of what we think he shouldn't do. I'm not worried about this team winning games. I don't think we're going to go undefeated. I mean, I joke at the office to piss people off and say, I think we're going to go 17-0, and they're all like, why are you so optimistic? All of that long-winded stuff to say, no, I'm not worried about this team winning games despite of injuries, despite of anything that could happen because the team is built to win.
Now, Lou Marconi, our colleague with the fans, the Fanatical Elfz, he writes a lot of articles. He came out with his article this afternoon talking about the Watson contract. One of the things he mentioned at the end of the article was that he thought that the ability like that the Browns now are going to have more of a consistent quarterback, continually working with Deshaun, and I just don't buy it. I don't trust Watson. Maybe I trust Barry and Stefanski, but for some reason I'm just not feeling positive still about Watson. And when you go around and talk to other Browns fans, from old to young, that I work with or I see different places, and I don't know what your conversations are like, but that's always the number one question. And then there's fans who have been Browns fans who just this week tell me they're not watching the Browns anymore until they get rid of Watson. So I guess I'm mixing a bunch of stuff together here, but I don't see the Browns being consistent at the quarterback play like Lou is suggesting, even though, yeah, he could be here for another year or two. There's no way in God's green earth I think Watson is here beyond 2 years. I'm giving him this year and next year. That's 4 years, like Baker. And if they don't improve, they don't go further in the playoffs, get rid of it. Like I don't see them keeping him.
Well, you said a lot of things there, John.
I did.
I'm going to try to unpack all of this and let Sam have some time to speak too, of course. Consistency at the quarterback position. Listen, I understand the concerns with Deshaun Watson. I'm with you on them. He was hurt last year. The thing I think we forget, first of all, is the first year he was here. He's been here for 2 total years. The first year he was here, he was suspended. He was not injured. He played 6 games. He looked rusty as all hell, which we all expected. Mm-hmm. We all knew that season was going to be a wash when we brought him. Mm-hmm. He then comes in, plays 6 games this year.
Right.
Gradually gets better. He wasn't Deshaun Watson of the Texans, but does get hurt. Was a pretty gruesome injury, all things considered, not seeing it, but in terms of like what it did to his body and thinking about him playing that whole second half of the Baltimore game with that injury. Other than that, I mean, you're looking at ACLs in college and stuff like that, which again are cause for concern, but the injury history of Deshaun Watson is there, but it's there to the extent of any other mobile gunslinger-esque quarterback, in my opinion. He could 100% go out there and get hurt, week 1 for all I know. But that you're banking and you're making the assumption of him getting hurt when you don't know. That's what we thought was going to happen to Nick Chubb when we drafted him. He had a total knee repair, and he was still Nick Chubb, and now he's having a second one. And I guarantee you there's still going to be.
Yes, but don't you agree on the Nick Chubb bit, nobody knew. I mean, I didn't know much about Nick Chubb. I mean, that was a second-round pick that he became Nick Chubb. We didn't consider him Nick Chubb the way we do now.
No, we didn't, but he was a damn good running back at Georgia. I remember watching those years. Yeah. But he was also splitting reps. Sam, I'm curious what you have to say about the whole Deshaun thing. I feel like you're more of a neutral party than John and I sometimes.
Yeah, I look, if you... Well, okay. Some people didn't like Tom Brady and refused to watch the Patriots and watch any game they're involved in because of Tom Brady. There were people who did the same for Richard Sherman and the cornerback for the Seahawks in that Legion of Boom as well. There were people who didn't watch the Ravens, which if you're watching the Ravens in any way, that's kind of silly. Watching that linebacker they had. Who was the big linebacker for the Ravens?
Ray Lewis.
Yeah, so people didn't like watching him. It just kind of happens. But I feel because people just don't like the player or they think he's a dirty player and stuff like that. But I think I think I understand he hasn't lived up to expectations. And I think we forget sometimes that most people generally watch the game. They don't really analyze it, or they even worse, just look at the highlights and the box score. And I feel like some people don't get the full story and don't look at the fact that Deshaun Watson has played really well in the end of games, that he has done pretty decently in his games that he's played. And I think people just look at box scores and look at stats and look at highlights and then determine what they feel of a player on that. And I think that's a lot of people's problems with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
well, it's that, and of course the personal issues as well. John, sorry, I don't mean to.
No.
Quick. But it's the personal issues as well. You also mentioned talking about people not wanting to watch the Browns till we get rid of them. That's totally fine. That can be your choice. You can do that kind of thing. I'm a firm believer when we talk sports, at least in my shows. I don't know how you guys are about, but I've very much put that stuff to the side at this point, because as much as we complain and stuff, I'm not going to go cheer for another team. And us complaining about him probably being not a great person off the field, at least when he was in Texas, doesn't do anything. So if that's those people's choices, I'm not going to watch the Browns until they get rid of Watson. So be it. But we made our bed, they're laying in it, and they're continue to lay in it. And I guarantee you those same people, if we go ahead and make it to a Super Bowl, are going to be wearing the same types of t-shirts I'm wearing right now, jumping around downtown with me at some dive bar when we get a Lombardi, if we get to that point, of course.
Well, of course we're going to. Let's keep talking about this in more of the 53-man roster. I want to talk a little bit about the stadium, the potential dome stadium. I read an article. There was an article written by a congressman locally down here in Columbus who had some interesting thoughts about everything, and I wanted your take on that. So this is the Fanatical Elfz Network. This is the Fanatical Elfz Show. We got a lot of news, too. I want to share out some other things after the break. So we'll be right back. Listen to these commercials and support us. We're back here on the Fanatical Elfz Show, where Johnny Cleveland, that's me, John Suchan, is older than both these guys added up. There you go. We got Sam down there in Texas, the great state of Texas, always wearing his cowboy hat. He's the greatest young podcaster, and Noah is the greatest podcaster coming out of the College of Worcester. So I tell you, College of Worcester, I don't know if you knew that. You know this, Noah. They used to have the Worcester Inn right off the golf course there.
Yeah, they tore it down. It's a tennis court now.
Yeah, it's what a shame. What a shame. But
that was COVID quarantine area on campus when I was there.
Really?
They used the inn. Yeah. They used the inn to quarantine the students with COVID.
Yes. So okay. And then they just burn it down. Afterwards. Oh, it's fun. No, Worcester's a great area. And those of you who are listening or watch us here on YouTube or on the X, if you get an opportunity to travel around little towns, areas, Worcester's in that area. They're in Wayne County. A lot of people think of Worcester. They think of the Amish. They think of horse buggies. There's little towns like Berlin and Millersburg south of there. So I would check it out. Lots of day trips that you can make. Find your favorite foods, your favorite cheeses. So, I'm boring them to death. I'm putting them.
No, I was about to jump in. I was letting you go on your thing. I was going to say there's fantastic craft beer in Worcester. It's not sponsored, but JAFB is some damn good beer. It's my favorite.
They have really changed, Noah. When you were there, they've really upped their game downtown. Like when I was growing up as a kid, we had Mazzo's, which is still, I think they were going to.
It's still there. I have a story.
He died. Mr. Mazzo. You knew that Mr. Mazzo died recently.
Yeah.
But that's been there forever. And then there have been a hodgepodge of different things. There used to be a sports store called Pierce's Sports. They closed that down. There used to be a department store called Freelander, where all the strip of like the restaurants that you see there on the one side of the street downtown, Rolling Rocks or Rock. There's some restaurant with a Rocks name in it. Yeah. So anyway,
Rolling
what was your story?
You got beer on the mind now because I mentioned one brewery, huh, John?
What was your story? Did you have anything to add? You were going to add something?
I'll tell you the Mazzo story after. Mazzo story after.
All right. Let's just a real quick take on this. I know Lou Marconi and we do the Stirring the Pot show. And thank you for following us on that show and the characterizations. You can go to Noah has put the apparel website link
together
on the X.
Yes, it's in the bio. There's a web merch for all of our different shows, as well as the Fanatical Elfz merch. So the logo that you see on screen if you're watching, or on screen if you're looking at the cover of the podcast, I guess too.
So we all have been talking about this new potential dome stadium in Brook Park. And I think most of us are agreeing that it's probably going to move that direction. But there was a local congressman who wrote an article, an editorial in the Columbus Dispatch yesterday or the day before about everything. And he basically, the gist of it was that the Haslams are greedy sons of guns, and that the good people of Ohio should stop having to pay all this tax money over all these years, and that even though we're being told that the Haslams are going to front all this money, that it's decades and decades of taxes that people have been, out of our pockets, that are giving to the greedy Haslams, and that we should just go ahead and stick with the stadium renovations downtown and stop feeding the rich like the Haslams. And he also talked about the Crew Stadium here in Columbus and how it's the same damn thing. And I mean, it was very, very anti progressive. So I didn't know if you saw that article. I caught my attention. I'm sure if Lou were here, he'd be like boiling mad with that if he read it. But I wanted your take. I'm assuming, I think it's dumb what he wrote. And it's not a realistic take, and he's going back 30 or 40 years. And it's just means nothing to you, Noah, and it means nothing to you, Sam, who are younger, people who are rooting for the Browns. And we like new things, nice, new, shiny things. So,
Sam, you care if I jump in here first?
No, you're good.
What the hell is he talking? It makes no sense. So if they do the stadium renovation downtown, first of all, that is tax money. There is tax money in that plan. If they do the dome, the public funding aspect of it is going to come out of a tax from the businesses that are going to move into that Brook Park town, whatever, ballpark village, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So if you're upset about the tax money that's involved and we're feeding the rich,
right?
Why would you? And I get probably the main sentiment behind all of this is that they want the Browns downtown, just like we all do. But we can go into that whole thing a million times. It makes no sense. You make no sense with what you're trying to say in the long and short of it, with whatever this article is that you brought up.
I was trying to find it. I found that here. It's up on my. Let me see if I can pull it up.
It's just laughable to me. Like it makes you sound like you don't know what's going on with the whole situation.
I'm not going to share my screen, but the article is called "No More Columbus, Cleveland Can't Keep Feeding the Browns and Crew Money When the Team Makes Millions." So
the other thing too is the city makes millions off the team too. I know it's not a popular opinion to side with some of the tax dollars or whatever, there being a split, but that's why there's a split. There's always going to be a split. There's no way to get away from having the split. You're always going to have the split. So regardless, in terms of the everyday Cleveland, Cuyahoga County resident like myself, if they go to Brook Park, there's less of a tax worry of my taxes going up,
right?
If they go there.
Well, and his sentiment was it's 13 miles away from downtown Cleveland. Well, okay, it's 13 miles. It's a suburb of Cleveland. It's considered
in Texas, 13 miles is the average distance to literally anything.
Right. Oh, I bet that. Yeah, anything out west. I mean, I was used to commuting to jobs that were far away. I mean, it's just the distance from Wichita to Kansas City. It was 3.5 hours. So
it's just ridiculous to have this thought process. I get being upset. You want the Browns downtown. I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah.
But like the tax money, like there's so much, it's so much more feasible. There's so much more going into the Brook Park location than them just renovate the stadium. And sure, it's going to bring.
Will they make an announcement here soon? Lou and I were speculating on that. Do you think that's going to be like during the season this year when they'll come out with the news, maybe around the holidays or something? What do you think?
I don't know. It takes about a year when you go through, and I know this because one of my close friends used to be a geologist for this type of thing.
Yeah.
It takes about a year to survey the land in between signing up for the purchase and the purchase being completely finalized.
Sure.
So I think as soon as the land is officially surveyed and everything's good to go in terms of like clearance and all that is when you'll get the official announcement. But
Okay.
you don't post a 15-page Instagram story with a hype video for a dome that you don't think is going to get built. You just don't do that as a billion dollar corporation. Billion dollar corporation like the Haslam Sports Group is. Ignore my fumbling.
Hey,
this is the third show of the week for me.
If you're watching the show or you're listening to the show or watching us live right now, you can comment on YouTube. You can comment to us on the X or on Facebook, and we'll try to post your comments as we continue our conversation. Sam, final thoughts on the whole stadium bit and this crazy old man who, not me, the other old man in this article.
People who don't exactly know what's happening. They hear tax money and they hear rich in the same sentence, and they immediately are enraged because for some reason they think that tax money is not. They think that tax money is going to the owner's pocket when in reality it's going to the owner so that he can spend it on his stadium. It's he is
then
not
generate revenue for the city.
I mean, okay, the Haslams are rich, but gosh dang it, they've earned it. And some people say, well, they're liars and cheats, and every rich person that I know, they've all done something that we probably don't think is very moral. But that's the bit. That's where we are, and it's not affecting you, me, or anybody else. I mean, honestly, we're on a podcast talking to the Brownies. They're not, the Haslams are not, it's an interesting topic to talk about. That's how they're influencing us right now, but it's not doing anything to my pocketbook. So.
If they want to send us some money, I'm not going to complain.
I got some student loans I could pay off, John. You know how expensive
can be. Well, here's the deal, guys. I still owe $1 bazillion until I die, and I'll be dead. So what happens to those debts? Do they just get...
Your kids pay them off unless you live in a certain state.
I think sometimes they try. Yeah.
They what? They go to the kids?
They try to pass it off on the rest of the family.
Oh, I'm going to tell the kids to run to Canada.
Sometimes I think if you have loans, I think sometimes they will sell off your items and they will pay it with that. So if you own like a $80,000 car and you have $120,000, that $80,000 will pay for part of that student loan.
Right.
I'm not well versed in that.
Man,
but
you're getting smarter. I mean, you got a College of Worcester education almost.
You haven't wrote the 54-page paper yet. There's
Lord have mercy. I'm glad I don't have to do that these days.
Right.
54 pages, Noah?
That was how long it's the independent study for Worcester that you have to do to graduate. 54 pages on sports commentating later, and here I am with a college degree.
Oh, bless your soul. Hey, I want to give props, and I don't know if Sherry is watching us tonight, but we want to welcome her. She is joining Browns Fan Girl on the X. I think that's her tagline. I think some of you might follow her know already.
GURL.
GURL. Yeah, Browns Fan Girl, GURL. And she is joining the Fanatical Elfz as a contributor now. She has been co-hosting the Burning River Browns talk show on Friday nights with Lou Marconi. And I talked to our buddies at Fans First and was notified that she was very interested in joining our team. So she's joining our team, and we were excited. She's going to have a new show of her own, some very more kind of different takes on the Brownies, and we're excited to see what that's all about. So welcome aboard, Sherry. We're excited to have you. Hey, I want to do this too. I'm going to talk about the 53-man roster here, but have you guys tried out this new coffee, Hemisphere Coffee Roasters?
I haven't gotten any just yet.
So
I've heard it's fantastic.
We shake the hand of the coffee farmer. We shake the hand of the coffee farmer. So here's the deal, guys. On the X, we have the link at the top of the page. I was trying to figure out how to put it in the bio, but I'm not sure if we can get it up there.
I don't think you can do two links.
So it's pinned on our X page, but if you use that specific link, you're going to be feeding Noah and Sam and I
Not me. I don't get anything.
I'll send you. We'll work something out, Sam. Your contributions to buying this fine coffee that I'm telling you. I was telling Lou the other night. I'm serious about this, Noah. You got to order some of this stuff. It is the best coffee you'll ever have. You'll never go back. You'll never go back.
You were a fan before we even started doing this little cooperative deal, right?
Oh yes. I've told many people I started listening to Bruce Hooley and Chris Spielman, the former Brown and Ohio State, who's currently the Lions. They had their podcast down here prior to the pandemic starting in like 2018, 2019. Pandemic started, but they got a connection with Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. They're out of Mechanicsburg, Ohio, just to the northwest here of Columbus, and they get their coffees from all over the world, especially South America, and it's just good stuff, good people there that go. You can actually go. My wife and I went up there one day to just check it out. It's like 45 minutes from Columbus here. And they have like a factory you can go in. It's a small little local place, but you can see kind of where they make the coffee, where they do things, and in their back rooms, and they have things that they can sell to other products. And I would really encourage everybody to go buy some. You're going to support us here on the Fanatical Elfz. But you got to use the link on our X page, and we'll try to put it on our Facebook page too. But you got to use that link. If you want the link, you can always email us. We can give that link out. You can email Noah if you know Noah well, or Sam or me. If you want any of that information, we can get that to you in a direct message. Sound good, guys?
Sounds
All
like
right.
good
Get some
coffee to me.
those little taster packs that they have on their store.
What now?
The little
Yes.
test packs, the ones that are like 3 ounces of the different
Yeah.
tries. Yeah, I can see if I can get one of those. And
I think what we should do is I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll probably buy some extra at some point, or maybe even go up there and buy, and so we can give some stuff away to some of the fans as we go through the season and promote the product. So
depending on how the season goes, we'll need the coffee.
right. So what do you guys think of the whole 53 man where we're at this week? I know initially the 53-man roster came out and everybody was like, oh, we got 4 quarterbacks. We got 2 running backs. Things have changed in the last day or two. Tyler Huntley, who I never I'm sorry. He was an ex-Raven. I just didn't like him being with the Browns. I'm glad he's gone. He was cut right today or waived.
He was officially cut, and we brought back Foreman, which is what I thought the 53-man would look like going into the season. So I give the 53-man now an A+.
Nice. Yeah.
Out of the 53, with everything we have going on, it's exactly how I thought it would look coming out of the preseason. Yeah. Give them credit for trying to get a trade out of Huntley, try to get some, extra capital and not have to deal with the contract. But DTR balled out. DTR earned QB3, and that's as simple as that. And Foreman will be our split carry back with Ford, and I think that'll be a good 1-2 punch until the return of Batman.
Sam, I have a question to you about Denzel Ward. 5 concussions. And Noah, if you want to add on to this, what do you think about Denzel? Are you worried? I'm terrified. I've told you guys this last week. I just don't. Ugh.
Yeah. I think I have a podcast. I don't think it's out yet. I forgot to tell you, John, that I had one. I always seem to forget. But I said that football is other than maybe hockey, the most physical, or not the most physical, the most destructive sport on your body you can play. Other than maybe hockey or boxing, depending on.
What about soccer?
Soccer, not really. Not compared to
a lot of injuries with soccer.
You're all mentioning the top ones, like study-wise, though. Yes, all of this makes sense.
But I think he's
college and Worcester graduate.
I think he could get another concussion this year. I wouldn't be terribly shocked if he got another concussion this year.
Is he done then? Is he done?
No, I don't think he's done though. I still think
what is he gonna have?
If he gets another one, I think he's going to have to reconsider choices and figure out what he wants to do.
He's Rocky, man. He's Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, but if he doesn't get another concussion this year, I think he's fine. I do worry though, because concussions are a risky injury, and you never really know when you're better, especially in football. There's always something, you might be more sensitive to noise of the
Yeah.
crowd, or the bright lights of a night game might hurt your eyes and hurt your head a
Yes.
little.
That's why
You
I think
never
he should
really
quit now,
know.
Sam. I don't think he should play again. I think he's
I think he's fine. I think he can play again. I think if he gets a sixth concussion, that's a lot of concussions. I
I'll
think he
bet you
definitely
another
needs to.
$20, you guys, that
Here we
Denzel
go.
Ward's gonna get another concussion.
I don't
before-
have enough. I
Listen.
don't have enough money to start betting that much.
Listen, it's tough, right? Because we're all worried about the well-being of this man. We've seen what CTE can look like in the
Yeah.
latter years of life. But, he's the one who's also deciding to go ahead and continue his football career.
Yeah.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Next episode of At the Office, my show on Wednesdays, we are covering should the NFL kick players out of the league, kick players as strong with X amount of concussions. So this topic is a good prelude to that. So you should check that out next Wednesday. But, if that's what he wants to do, man,
but
I'm not one to go ahead.
No, I'm just like, the kid has just a walking injury. Bruce Hooley and Chris Spielman, I can remember vividly listening to their podcast, We Tackle Life, back in the day, and they talked about Denzel at Ohio State and how he was never reliable because he was always injured. Back to you, Noah. I'm sorry I cut you off.
I mean, he's a great talent, obviously, right? He was named a captain today. He's one of the better corners, if not one of the best corners in the NFL.
Yeah,
I agree. The best ability is availability. I'm with you with that 100%. But what else are you supposed to do? You drafted the guy. You have the guy on your roster.
but I'm interested. Then I want to hear your takes on this in your show next week, because I think Denzel Ward is going to be one of those players. And I'm sorry, I just, as an adult and as an older person, he's messed up already. I mean, he's not going to be, clear thinking. I mean, having 5 concussions, Lord knows he's probably got a dozen that we don't even know of, 6 or 7 of them, because they're not being reported. I think he's going to be a basket case probably in his mind after he gets out of football. It's like nobody but
we can't say that for certain either. You can't diagnose CTE.
I can.
It's a catch-22, right? Like, we're concerned because we know the problems with CTE, but at the same time, if that's what he's deciding to do, who am I as a 23-year-old who's never met this guy and doesn't sniff the money he makes or the athletic ability that he has? Who am I to tell him what he should or shouldn't do?
Well, okay. I disagree.
Maya, just quickly, I think this is the bad comparison, but if you look at Jacob DeGrom right now on the Texas Rangers, he played 3 games in 2022, I believe. He hasn't played any of last year, and I believe he has not played any of this year. But he's still considered one of the best pitchers in the entire major league right now.
Sure.
Even though I think this is his 3rd Tommy John. And I think
3rd.
He's still, yeah. It might be 3rd. It might be 2nd. It's a lot.
It's 2nd, maybe. I don't know. Continue.
It's a lot, but he still is considered one of the best pitchers in the league. He still is considered our best pitcher, assuming he comes back next year. Right. I think you got to look at it as he's good enough. You just got to deal with the injuries. You just got to deal with him getting hurt. I think
that's what I'm saying,
because we signed Jacob DeGrom knowing dang well he was probably going to get injured within the first 4 starts. And he did end up getting injured really, really early. Like, if you have a Jacob DeGrom jersey, you have not put it on in a year and a half. I promise you that.
But I'd still wear my Shane Bieber. I'd still wear my Shane Bieber if I had one.
But yeah, maybe. But I think he's good enough of a player. You just got to suck it up and deal with it and just run with it. I think he's just good enough that it's not worth it to worry and just let him play and let him exist.
Okay. I like, but I don't totally disagree with your take either, Noah or, Sam. I'm just not I think he's a great guy. I'm sure he is. I mean, listening to him, he seems like a good guy, team leader, well spoken, all of that, the Ohio State. I mean, all of, he's well respected. It's just, I don't know. I'm worried he'll be hurt after week 1. So, anything else in the 53-man roster this week that, or in the last coming days that you've taken note of, or
No.
okay, no, yeah,
May I
Sam,
add really quickly? I just want to say, like, what if let's just say, for example, we cut Denzel Ward, right?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, this would never happen. Let's just say that right now they just dropped him. He just left football. There would be 7. They play 17 games right now, right? 18 total. One's a bye week.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
making sure I have the numbers
Right,
right. He
right,
would not play for 17 games because he would be gone. Now, let's say he plays 10 games and gets hurt for the other 7. That's
sure,
still 10 games. We have one of the best cornerbacks in the entire league. And I
Right.
feel like that's something you got to take into consideration, that even if he gets hurt for half the season,
yeah,
that's still 7.5, 8.5 games he would not that he is playing in. That
right,
your cornerback room is triply better than it would have been without him. So I feel like
okay,
you just gotta kind of just let him play. And even if he gets hurt, all those
fair.
games you had him, and he played.
Let me ask you this question about another player, Nick Chubb. Before we start wrapping things up here, Nick Chubb, right? He's on the 4-week pup list, right? He can't do anything, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Technically, he could be coming back in week 5, but then you hear other people saying it could be weeks 9, 10, or 11 before he gets back. Where do you think everything falls with everything? Noah?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I feel like
No.
I've been jumping over you a little bit.
No,
I'm
you're not.
trying to, John.
No, I'm your father. Remember that I could be your father.
Yeah, don't say all that now.
I'm okay.
First of all, I want to start with my thought is he's going to be here week 6 Philly game.
You think so?
I think he'll sit one more out, play week 6. If not, he'll have like a short. Me and Lou, I think, talked about it on one of the episodes before, where it's like maybe a 10 snap game max for the Commanders. But I think he'll be back for the Philly game because that's a big game on our schedule for very many obvious reasons.
Yeah, I don't like the turf there in Philly.
Me either. Well, neither here nor there. But his contract set up where he hits all of his incentives if he plays in 12 games instead of, the 17 like most. So
Good,
I think it's set up with the focus of the Philly game being his return date.
Okay, fair. Sam?
Yeah, I think he's going to play week. I think they're going to be, again, I think every single week they're going to be looking at his practices, looking at what he does. I don't think you can very accurately predict when he's going to play.
Yeah.
I think you just kind of, because you never know. He might walk down the stairs on September 17th and get his foot caught on a protruding nail, trip and fall,
don't say that.
re-injure his ACL. Or he might be looked at week 2 and they're like, yeah, your ACL is completely perfect. There's no worry. You can play week 5. I really hope he doesn't trip on a protruding nail in his stairs. That would be really unfortunate. But I think you just kind of got to run it week by week and just see see how he feels every single week. All
right, final takes tonight. Noah, you got any final thoughts before we wrap things up? I know this is your 3rd show of the week.
Yeah. I've put a focus on trying to get on all the shows I typically do this week. Final thought for the week. Happy they brought Foreman back. I was happy seeing some of his run style. I think it complements Ford very well. So I'm very excited to see that 1-2 punch. Very excited is a stretch. I want Nick Chubb back, but I'm excited to see that 1-2 punch. I have more faith in a Ford and Foreman backfield than a Ford and Strong and some random practice squad guy we bring up later on.
I want to see Ford. I got a little nervous again in preseason. There was one run he had where he went laterally again. And I'm like, dude, go the other way.
Ford has his strengths. He has his ups and downs. When Cincinnati made that run and they made the playoffs, he was a big reason their offense was so good. So I do still think there is a lot to be had in him somewhere.
Yeah.
He was thrown into the position. Now he's going in with the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's even remotely close to being the heir apparent of Nick Chubb after what I saw last year, but I still got some faith in my boy Jerome Ford.
Foreman, is it Foreman? Right. Freeman?
Yeah, Devonta Foreman.
Foreman. I mean, he does look, he's got a big, I mean, he's a little bit bigger back, wearing 27 Kareem Hunt's numbers. So some people who haven't been paying attention will be going, wait, there's Kareem Hunt. No.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Sam, final thought tonight.
No, I don't have really much, honestly. I think this is completely off topic, but go at Michigan State. We have a game tomorrow, so it's going to be the best 4-8 season you'll ever see. All right, it's going to be
You're
insane.
a Michigan State fan?
Yeah, I when I was like 5 years old, I'm like, yeah, I love their logo, and I haven't been able to not be that fan ever since.
Oh, that's cool. I respect
you are all over the board, my friend. You're in
I'm
Texas,
everywhere.
like the Browns.
If you want to, and since Michigan State sucks, I picked Arizona as my other favorite college football team. So I am in Texas, I'm in Arizona, I'm in Michigan, and I'm in Ohio all at the same time. So
I'm just glad it's not that team up north. Yeah, I'll take a Michigan State.
I hate
Michigan.
Michigan
Shout out my
too.
boss at Channel 19. He's an alumni. One of my
But
bosses.
I think we just gotta watch. I think this is the worst part of football.
Yeah.
Is the last week before it actually starts.
Yeah.
Just stay healthy, people.
Yeah.
Let's just not injure ourselves. And there's nothing you can do, right? And the NFL is so brutal. There's nothing you can do, but you can more or less, like, maybe instead of running an extra 2 yards, maybe slide. Or stuff like that. But there's nothing we can do. We just got to hope and pray that we just are able to survive the season.
John, what's your final take, man? I want to hear what you have to say.
My final take? What would be my final take? What now? What did you say?
I said I put him on the spot, everyone.
You did. I think, the expectations are high for this team going into the season. I think personally, I feel like we've got to win, and we got to win a lot at the beginning of the season, because the second half of the season, I'm jumping way ahead again, but it's a bear. And everybody in the AFC North schedule is a bear, that second part, from the Steelers to the Ratbirds to the Bungles. But I mean, we got to play the Chiefs, the Dolphins, Pittsburgh twice in there. The Bungle, all the teams, and I just think we got to really get going, and we can't start off slow, and so that's what I'm really anxious to see what happens against Dallas. We have the home field advantage. The crowd is going to be rocking. Tom Brady will be in the TV booth. Everybody will be watching, and I just I don't think the Browns are going to lay an egg, but not having seen specifically Deshaun Watson play, I'm excited to see him play, but he needs to play well. And that's my take.
ESPN is too busy trying to figure out a predictive model for each of Dalvin Cook's games for the Cowboys than they're doing anything else. They're like,
Right.
Yeah, he's not going to play in week 1. So we invented an entire AI to fully project his stats.
Do you think Brandon Ayuk is going to stick with the 49ers?
Didn't he sign the extension? Didn't that break today? I thought that it finally broke today.
Did it?
I don't know why he shouldn't. I mean, the team's great.
Did it break tonight or today?
I'm looking right now before I sound stupid, but I'm pretty sure it broke today. Yes, Brandon Ayuk agrees to 4-year, $120 million contract extension with the 49ers per NFL 2 hours ago.
Oh, there you go. See, I'm giving you old news, because they were talking about how he had a spiel with the Brownies, but he didn't want to come here. And we've kind of said that, but Sam,
I'm happy with our roster, man.
CeeDee Lamb is playing week 1, by the way.
Who?
CeeDee Lamb. He got like 140 million or something over 4 years.
Yes. Well, it'll be exciting. I'm excited to see the game, be there in person. Some of us will be there. Are you going to be there, Noah?
I won't be at the game. I will be around and about downtown.
You will be around and about town.
Having a few
Well,
sodas here and there.
I'll be texting you to see where you're at if we get there.
I'm always up at the pier where the Cleveland sign is, which would be east of the Science Center. So
okay,
come over, have a dog.
East of the Science Center. You mean
Yes, like northeast of the Science Center.
the Science Center, which is right next to the stadium?
Yeah.
Okay, you're east of there. Oh, okay. You're over there. So is that the Muni lot?
No, it's not the Muni lot. My friend who's a season ticket holder tailgates over there.
Next to the sign, to east of the.
If you go all the way down straight on 9th, all the way down 9th,
Yep.
go to the parking lot where the water is, that's where I'll be.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe we'll get over there. I think we're taking the tram down the rail from 150th in. My wife and I are going to come in that way, so we'll see. All right, folks. Thanks again for watching us here on the Fanatical Elfz. We really appreciate it. Sam, thank you for being here. Noah, thank you for being here as always. We are the Fanatical Elfz, a bunch of wild and crazy Browns fans just like you. We really appreciate your support. We'll be giving more giveaways, more coffee. We got Sherry joining the crew here in the Fanatical Elfz, so looking forward to that as well. Everybody have a great week. Go Browns. Take care.
Go Browns.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woof, woof. Maybe. Music, please. Oh, where's the music? Oh, I didn't want to start. Oh, that darn music. Oh, there you go. See ya. Here we go. Welcome to the Fanatical